Yeah.
What's the most memorable match that you ever wrestled in?
Oh shit! The most memorable match was probably when I wrestled Necro Butcher at the Gathering. It was like 5 years ago, and there was no ropes match, and it was lumberjacks around the ring with weapons. And when I slammed him on the chair, he broke his leg. And I was like, oh, fuck, what do we do now, man? His bone was actually sticking out of his leg. So I was trying not to throw up at the same time as trying to pin him. So that was pretty memorable. I got a lot of great memories of wrestling people. Abdullah the Butcher and Kamala, and I mean, Jake
I was
the
going to ask you about Abby. You got any good stories about Abby?
Abdullah the Butcher, let me tell you something. The first time I wrestled him, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that he's a real paranoid guy. So the first time I wrestled him, what he does, if you look at his fingers when you're watching wrestling tapes or whatever, and all of his fingers are taped up, there's razor blades in every one of those fingers, every one of them. And I went to hit Abdullah, and I went to pick him up like I was going to scoop him, and he put those razor blades into my neck and was saying real quietly, put me down, let me go. And what do you do when you got razor blades at your jugular vein? You just listen, But the first couple of times I wrestled him, I was just a young guy, and he was a veteran, so he just took advantage and beat the shit out of me. But later on in life, man, we became good friends. And if you ever go to his restaurant in Atlanta, it's called Abdullah the Butcher's House of Ribs and Chinese Food. Believe it or not, that's what it's called. There's actually a picture of me and him wrestling together on his Wall of Fame, man. So I was pretty honored.
Oh, that's got to be a huge honor for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then wrestling, and then
road, wasn't he? Was he serious?
Yeah, he was definitely.
Your jugular.
Well, he didn't know me. He didn't know what I was going to do to him. I'm 20 years younger than he is, and so he was protecting himself. That's what the old timers did back then, man. They didn't know when a young guy was going to try to get make some news. I mean, because look, seriously, he's an old man. I was a young guy then. I was in great shape. I could probably kill him. But he had to protect himself. And then another memorable match, man, was when I wrestled in a three-way with Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes, man. Who the fuck gets to be in the ring with Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes? I mean, really? It's a dream come true, man. And Dusty was such a sweetheart, man. I miss him so much because even after just that one time we wrestled, him and we stayed in contact for years and years. And man, what a beautiful soul, man. What a great guy. A lot of assholes in the business too, though, man. Lots of them, man.
Who are some of the guys that like really like would fuck with you a little bit too much? That you is there anybody?
Well, one of them was Vampiro. Vampiro, him and we would and we never wrestled each other ever. But man, like he'd come on some of the tours with us, and man, he was much bigger, a lot stronger than me. And I remember a couple times he'd be fucking around with me on the tour bus. And one time he had me like in a chokehold, and I fell up against the drawer in our kitchen, and I pulled out a pair of scissors and I stuck it to his throat. And I was like, you might want to go ahead and let me go now because this is about to go in your throat. So, So, I mean, he was he liked to play a little bit too much, and I don't really care for that. I'm a grown-ass man. I ain't got time for that dumb shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. There's definitely a cutoff point for all that fucking around. Yeah, man, that's crazy. You wrestled the best of the best, man. I mean, Terry Funk, what was he like, man? You remember that? I know you remember that death match with him and Cactus Jack back in the mid-'90s.
Oh, yeah. Because we did this.
You did Stranglemania.
We did the Stranglemania with that. Yeah. Terry Funk, man, is... let me say this about Terry Funk. If there's any one guy in the business who wants to see this business succeed and wants to see the young guys make it, it's Terry Funk, man. He's a guy who's like, listen, man, if it makes sense, then it's got to make dollars. You know, and what he wants is the young guys to respect what him and guys like Dusty Rhodes and the Sheik and all those guys, what they build and what they, you know, blood and sweat and tears so many years for. You know, today there's no honor in wrestling anymore. And when I say that, what I mean is there's nobody paying dues anymore. You can go on eBay right now and buy yourself a wrestling ring. You can set it up at a VFW hall. You can go to that same eBay store and get you a world championship belt, and you can say, oh, I'm a wrestler, and here's my federation, without paying any dues, without any proper training. And, man, that's what the veterans were like, this is bullshit. Because I'm going to tell you what, man, me and Violent J, true story, man, true story. One of our first or second matches that we had, we were in Detroit, we did a show, and then we got invited by the Sheik and Sabu to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana the next night to wrestle. And we were like, oh, shit, man, this is going to be great, blah, blah, blah. We got down there, man, and seriously, that's like a 6-hour drive, okay? And we didn't have no money back then, so, you know, whatever. Anyways, man, at the end of the night, the fucking promoter handed us $5. $5! And was like, all right, we'll see you next month. And that's paying dues. Who the fuck were we to get paid? No one came to see us. But like I said, the honor and respect of the business now is just, look, I could show you I'm a better acrobat than you are. But there's no psychology behind it. There's no true story behind it. You know, you should be able to go into a match and tell a story from front to back and have people entertained while you do it. And so, you know, I don't want to sound like one of them old timers, oh man, back when I was around. But the fact of the matter is I'm glad that I was a part of that old school, and that I got that old school mentality, because now I teach it to young guys that I help develop and help, you know, train and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot to this business that, you know, everybody thinks that, you know, it's going to die. But wrestling is just like every so often it takes a slump, and then all of a sudden it's back on top. So, I mean, it'll be here. It'll be here, but, you know, you got to just respect those guys who paved the way. That's all.
Yeah, man, you guys went from a videotape to having an actual wrestling organization, man. Like JCW blew up. You know, like
man, we got to do. No, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like back in the day, my little cousin had the JCW videotape, and then out of nowhere, I went to look it up, and there was all this stuff. Like, then I realized how big it became, man. Like, it actually turned into something like it went from an event to an organization. You know what I mean? So We put your work.
We got to do 4 major tours across the country, and so that was pretty cool. And we've done several pay-per-views. So I mean, and then that also opened up doors for us to, you know, go to ECW and TNA, and you know, even when ICP got to be in WWE for that brief moment in WCW. I mean, these were dreams that we had when we were kids, man. And we were like, you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna make those dreams come true. You can't. The only person that can stop you from your dreams is you. That's it. Come hell or high water, get it done. That's how we live our lives.